Hello everybody and welcome to another Composr CMS development stream. And today we are going to be working on fixing a few bugs in version 11 of Composr CMS, and then we are also going to be starting off unit testing with version 11 beta 8. So essentially what I want to do is I want to get version beta 8 out as soon as possible. It's probably not going to happen today, but I want to get it out eventually and soon because I have a couple of websites or a couple of clients who want to upgrade from Composr CMS from version 10 to version 11. And version 11 beta 8 fixes a few bugs that kind of prevented the upgrading from happening, particularly those bugs with the upgrader itself, where the upgrader would skip over a few files and then some files would be missing after the upgrade. Those have been fixed in beta 8. So I really need to get this version out and released so that I can start upgrading those client websites. Before we get into the gist of it, a couple of additional changes that I made in Composr since the previous stream. So at the previous stream, we were working on the cookie consent banner, but I've noticed that the Composr persistent caching system was very inefficient in the file system mode. And there were a couple of reasons for that. One being that the persistent caching for file systems made a lot of input and output operations on the disk, because there were a lot of different caches that it had to write to disk or read from disk, what have you. And it was slowing the entire process down. So some pages, such as the tutorials index, would actually time out. It would encounter a PHP timeout after 30 seconds when persistent caching was enabled. So this is what I did. I redid how the persistent caching works for the file system. So now, whenever something wants to set a cache on the persistent cache and we're using the file system, instead of immediately writing to disk, we queue it as a shutdown function if we can in PHP. So it won't actually save any of the persistent caching to disk until we have finished our execution with PHP. So it saves everything as one of the last operations it does, and it saves the current state of the persistent cache. So essentially what it will do is it will set the new value as a cached key within memory, and it will use that value whenever getting. And then at the end of the execution for PHP, it will save all of the current values to disk. So it basically uses a combination of volatile versus non-volatile caching. And I found that dramatically sped up file system persistent caching. So I think that was a pretty big success. So that's the additional operation that I did since the previous stream. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and log in to the home site of composr.app, and this time I'm going to try not to expose passwords. So from my previous stream, what had happened was I accidentally exposed my password for this site, not through my password manager, but through I was viewing a log file, and the log file had JSON encoded, or not JSON encoded, it had serialized post data And within that post data was my password in plain text. So that accidentally got exposed on stream for a short period of time. So I realized that almost immediately after I finished the stream. So my password has been changed on this site. So no damage done, luckily. And I decided, in case that happens again, my password for the home site is now not only characters that might be found on a traditional keyboard, but it's a whole bunch of non-ASCII characters as well. So even if it does get exposed accidentally on stream, considering the length, 32 characters, and the fact that there are several characters which you cannot easily type on a keyboard, you have to go to a character map in order to find them. That should hopefully delay the process of somebody trying to copy the password and hacking into my account just enough for me to reset the password again. If anything like that were to happen. So, I had also found a bug within Composr. I'm not going to open this up because this is filed as a security hole, which is private, but I did realize something interesting while watching a video on YouTube of different PHP developers talking about different security risks within PHP. And there is something very, very interesting that I had no idea within PHP until now. And that is, oh, I do still have my temp code. If you look here at my execute temp code here, actually, it's not this, but I think it was 0E. But essentially, if you have some numbers followed by an E and a string, and you compare it to itself, you could end up in a situation where PHP returns true. And the reason being is because this is treated as scientific notation with a loose comparison operator. So something like this would return true because 0E23 is equal to 0 in scientific notation. Because that's essentially the same as moving the decimal point 23 spots on 0, which evaluates to 0. And that could be extremely problematic, especially if you're using hash comparisons. So as we know, hashes like MD5, SHA-256, and so on and so forth use the characters 0 to 9 and A to F. Well, would you happen to look at that? 0 is within the 0 to 9 character set, and E is within the character set of A to F. So we could run into situations like this with logging in. So that's a particularly troublesome situation, and I went ahead and filed that as a tracker issue. It's going to be very difficult to fix within the Composr code base because it's going to require a whole bunch of different changes throughout the code base. Now, the reason why we don't do strict type comparison in Composr CMS is because it hides different type errors when we do that. So for instance, if we do a strict comparison like this, it may hide an instance where we want to do a comparison on null, or we don't want to do a comparison on null, what have you. So that's why we don't do strict type comparisons in Composr CMS. So my proposal is for us to develop a new function, something to the effect of CMS string is equal to, and well, I can't type today, but essentially what that would do is you would put the two strings into the function as parameters, and there would be some logic comparing to null first, and then comparing strictly to itself, and so on and so forth, to give it the proper testing or the proper comparisons that we expect within the Composr code base. So that's my proposal. I'm not implementing anything just yet because I actually forward this issue to the developer, the original developer of the software, Chris Graham, and I want to get his opinion on that issue before we proceed in any particular direction with a resolution. So yeah, that was interesting and something I never knew about PHP until I watched or saw that video. Video. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but anyway. Let's get on to some relevant issues now. I'm gonna go ahead and do here is load one of our filters here for open bugs, and I'm gonna see. I know there's one particular bug that I wanted to work on before we get into unit testing. It's something hang on a moment. Oh. There we go. It's something that had to do, here it is. Topic polls appear close on the data specified even if in the future. The reason why I want to fix this is because it affects the home site, and in particular, we need this bug fixed in order to be able to do votes on measures. Like if somebody wants to propose a change to the Composr constitution or wants to vote on a feature to be implemented in Composr CMS, we need to be able to fix this bug. So we're going to go ahead and work on this bug. So as mentioned, if you have a time-based poll where a topic poll is created that has an end time specified, it appears closed even if the time has not passed yet. So we're going to try and recreate this issue. We're going to create a topic. We're just going to add some junk in the topic. We're going to add a topic poll. And we're going to give it some junk, more junk. And we're going to set a date into the future. We're going to set it to expire 1 week from today. And voting is enabled. Now this is, okay, that's interesting. It looks like it is working properly on the test site. So that leads me to believe there might be some further bugs going on here. Alright, so I did want to mention first off, the reason why the pages are loading very slow is because this is a development build and, you know, there's no optimization or anything like that in progress. Oh, I think I might have persistent caching enabled, which I really shouldn't have enabled right now or anymore. Yeah, let's get rid of that. And again, like I mentioned on the previous stream, this particular password, I don't care if it's exposed because this is for a local database that nobody can access from the external web. Alright, so the difference between this case and the case where I filed the bug report was this was a topic poll that did not have any forced regulations. So there is a feature within Composr where you can define forced options for topic polls based off a forum. And that's what I did for the measures section on the home site, so that we could force every topic to have a poll, and that that poll has to have specific options, and that poll is set to be forced to a specific close date, and so on and so forth. So if you go under structure and forums, we're going to go ahead and edit a forum here. Let's edit general chat. Did I save my changes for that? Yeah, I did. Okay. Anyway, if you go under it, I think it's advanced. Yeah, default poll options XML. That's where you could specify an XML config to force different options for topic polls. So that's a feature you can. It's an advanced feature, but it's something you can do within forums, and we do that within the Composr CMS thing here. But if we create a topic, we're going to do the same process here. We're creating a topic under measures. We're just putting a bunch of random stuff here. Add a topic poll. I'm not sure why that follows under further details. That's interesting. Hang on a moment. If we add a topic on the development website, the add a topic poll is up here. But if we add it on the home site, it's down here under options. That is interesting. Let me look into that before we go any further. Okay, so this is on the... Okay, so we need to go in the forum zone. This is under the topics module, and this is the new topic page. We have our description for our topic, validation, skip signature. Here's our poll options. Oh, I see. If there's only one option, then we put it up here. But if there are more options, it goes down to further details. Let me check something here. Is further details expanded by default? Yes, it is. Okay, that's good. I don't like this. It's not consistent. Let's throw options into specialization 2 at all times. I want to remain consistent. All right, the next item up for bids. We need to add our topic here and go to our poll thing. So as you can see here, this particular forum has some forced options as defined by the poll XML configuration within the admin zone. So as you can see, we have answers defined and grayed out. We'll type in test poll here. There are 1 minimum selections, 1 maximum selections. and we have a voting open until July 4th, so 1 week from today. Voting is enabled by forced on, so that is something we confirm. I want to enable developer tools just in case if we need to check what is posted in the process here. So we're going to go ahead and add this, and as you can see, it says the poll is closed. Why is that? So if we go into add our page here for add poll, let's look at our payload here. Open was set to 1. Did the date get sent? Closing time was set to July 4th. Yeah. And we have closing time. We have the time zone. So it should have worked. If we go and edit this, what do we get? It says it's not enabled. That's a problem. So it's not saving the fact that it's enabled. But the value was 1 in the post data. Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Something else looks funky. We're gonna add another. We're not gonna actually add this, but yeah, this should be forced on the edit screen as well. Okay, so that's yet another bug we're gonna have to look into. But something else. Yeah, voting enabled should be forced on. Hide results should be forced on. Okay. So that's 2 things we need to figure out here. Let's go to add poll. And the poll. Oh, hang on. Is this? Yeah, the UI tab poll. Form screen. Oh, here we go. Get poll form fields. Form ID is null, new poll is true. Oh. This should be false, probably. Wait, no, that should be true, because we're still in add poll, we're not editing in this case. So yeah, that should be true as well. All right, so get poll form fields, I think works as expected. We have our default poll options. Oh, hang on. Okay, so one thing I did notice, if you look here when you're adding a new poll, these two options are grayed out, which beats their force, but then there's the ability to add additional options. I don't know if that should be happening. Let's check the XML for the forced poll options. You really shouldn't, it should be forced to yay or nay and not anything else. Required topic poll confined equals true. Let's launch the tutorial for topic polls. Oh, is it not in here? Maybe it's under advanced? Yeah, here we go, advanced forum settings. Let's see if it's under here. Default poll options, here we go. If true, then only the defined poll options in the XML are allowed. Members may not add their own custom poll options. Okay, so we do have confined equals true defined in our poll options for this forum. So confined equals true. Our form input line options. Form input line multi. Pattern error. Type line. Null, null, confined. Confined is defined. Only items in default array are allowed. Am I okay? Did I read that wrong? Let's go back. This might be a case of nuanced language. If true, then only the defined poll options in the XML are allowed. Members. Oh, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to use those options. That's where the combination of mandatory equals true comes into play. So I'm guessing, yeah, we should leave that alone, because it's possible there might be an option that does not have the mandatory equals true flag, and in that case, confined equals true would mean that like if you have so many options defined here, but not all of them are mandatory, you could or could not have the non-mandatory ones defined, and then so the text, the multi-line should allow you to add additional ones. So let's say if I have a non-mandatory option of ice cream, for instance, when you go to add the poll, the mandatory ones would be listed and grayed out because you can't change them. You have to have those options. But then there might be non-mandatory ones which will not show up by default. Although maybe they should. I think they do. I think they do, yeah. If you have some options defined, they will show up by default, even if not mandatory. And the fact that the text box is editable would allow you to adjust which of the non-mandatory options you actually want on the poll. So this is, okay, so as I'm thinking this through and figuring this out, that is intended functionality. So that's fine. Let's go back to looking at the voting enabled section. If we have a new poll and the default options are voting enabled, and we set is open. So this is the human readable label, the post key, the post value, description, and I think required, and whether or not you can change the value. Or hang on. I'm unsure of those last two parameters. I'm going to have to look that up. Form input options. Okay. Pretty name, value, description, whether it's disabled. Okay, so I had it backwards. And whether or not it is ticked by default. Okay. So this was ticked by default. We saw that. It was disabled, which means you couldn't change the value. And that value was 1. But I saw that it did post is open. It posted it. So let's look at the actualizer. Here's the actualizer, post parameter integer. So is open would have been 1, which would have been sent to CNS make poll, which would, okay, is this passed by? It is passed by reference. CNS validate poll. Okay. When does it get set to false? If voting enabled, is true, which it was, and poll ID is null, which it was because it wasn't created yet, we set is open to true. Otherwise, we set is open to the value of PO is open. Oh, hang on. Is that supposed to be 1 instead of true? Is that supposed to be a binary? If it's true, is open, yeah, it's binary. Yeah, okay, yeah, that should have been 1. I believe this should have been 1 as well. I believe this private is binary. Is private is binary, is open is binary. Okay, well, let's go through these to make sure that we don't have any other issues. That's fine. Voting replication, guests can vote. Point weighting, those are all fine, those are binary. I think that was the issue. We were converting binary to Boolean. It was a type issue. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking the issue was. So it gets set, then it gets inserted into the database. Let's confirm. Well, I guess we already technically confirmed, because when we went to edit the poll, it already showed up on the edit screen with the tick box not having been ticked. All right, let's now go to the other bug, which was in edit poll, the UI for edit poll, particularly for hiding results. So we have it is not a new poll, is private, is open, requires reply. Hang on. Vote enable, guest get requires reply, vote revocation, hide results. If new poll, oh, okay, so if it's a new poll, maintain current value for is private rather than forcing it for maximum if we are editing a poll. We should be disabling the tick box if we have results hidden forced. Let's look through this again, just to make sure there aren't any other logical bugs. Okay, so those are for the answers, and we have the minimum and maximum selections, which are fine. But we need to look at the tick options and make sure those are behaving as they should. This behaves as it should. I saw that. It was disabled on the edit screen, so you couldn't change the existing value, which is what we want. What about guests can vote? If it's defined, we don't have any other logic for this one, so that's fine. This is fine, and this is fine. But this has additional logic. It has the new poll, so we need to check on results hidden and determine if we need to disable the tick box if results hidden is defined in the XML. This is fine. There's no other conditions. Point waiting. This is fine because that doesn't have any additional criteria. Okay, voting open. Voting open until okay. If we are editing a poll, keep the current poll closing time value. But this voting period hours. That looks like a type issue. Because we're checking on true. That looks like a type issue. I think it might be string false rather than actual Boolean type, and we need to account for that. Number or false. Yeah, it would be a string false. So that's a problem. That's a type error. First, we need to check to make sure it's not null. Then we need to do a lowercase comparison. Missing a bracket somewhere. Where am I missing a bracket? Oh, there. Okay. That should fix that bug. Didn't even know that bug existed. So, if the XML voting period hours is false, then do not allow setting a closing time. Then setting a date to close voting will not be allowed. Yep. The topic scheduled time was provided, add voting period hours to that. Why is this marked to do when I already have the code? Let me think about this. So actual poll closing time is initialized to the current time. If we are not running a new poll, then we use the current time, the current closing time as defined by the poll. Otherwise, we continue down the chain. If voting period hours is defined as false, then we do not allow setting a time. So actual poll closing time will be null. Which will trigger this comparison, which will, I guess, disable the input. It'll disable the input so you can't add anything, and then this will also be null for the default value, which means nothing will be filled in for the date field. Okay, so that works. That should work as intended. But why do we have a to-do for this? If schedule does not equal null, schedule is what is schedule? If a topic scheduled time, oh, topic scheduled time. So if a topic was scheduled to, I see what it's doing now. Let's go ahead and delete this because we're done with this test topic. But if you go and add a topic in Composr, you have the option to schedule the topic, which is validation date and time. This. So you would turn that off, and then you would set a validated. Okay, so this. Okay, so the reason why it was marked as to do is because we did not actually finish this. This was for the old system, so before I implemented validation date and time. What I'm going to do, we're going to get rid of that clause entirely, just to make things easy. Actually, no. If validated equals 0, we're going to let's see here. Now we'll just leave it as a separate clause for logic's sake. Get rid of that. So validated needs to become a new parameter on here. Let's make this more concise. And that's a new parameter. There we go. So then that as so we just set the date to blank in that case. We're going to have to add additional control logic for when we actually do validate the topic. Actually, hang on. With voting period hours, assuming there wouldn't be a way to define, if defined as a number, then all polls created for will close voting after the defined number of hours. This will be the number of hours from the scheduled time, otherwise is the number of hours from when the topic was created. have to edit that documentation. This is in TUT Advanced Forums. All right, so if the topic is not validated, this will, if a topic is validated, this will be the number of hours from the moment the topic is created. Otherwise, this will be the number of hours from when the topic gets validated, either manually or through the set validation time. Actually, is it called date and time or just time? Validation date and time. Okay, so we'll fix that documentation language. All right, let's see what else. So go back to our code here. To cache first time. Oh, so, okay, we already have a check for not null up there. Okay. If the topic is not validated, do not provide a closing time yet. The closing time will be set once the topic is validated. Now, let's go through and get pull form fields. Actually, this should probably be a protected function. Because this is not a CRUD function. It is not an API that should be used by other files, that kind of thing. Okay, that doesn't need change, that doesn't need change, but this needs changed. So we have form ID new pull validated. No, that's for the poll. We actually need to get this from topic info. make sure that's the correct name of the column. Looks like it might be. Okay. And yep, we need to throw that on there. Okay. However, now that I think about it, it does need to be added on to the other calls for this function. So add poll is called by add topic. I'm not sure. Okay, I see what it's doing. Just validating input. All right. So we need to go to add topic. Okay, that is apparently not a function. So I'm gonna have to scan for it manually. Validate topics. Mark topics on red. Pin topics, unpin topics, cascade. Open topics, close topics. Mass multi-mod. Move topics. Delete topics. Delete topics and post. Categorize private topics. Whisper. Choose topic emoticon. Attach quotes. Post templates. They call it new topic. Okay. Let's find validated. It's okay, so the input would be validated. All right, now we got to go back here. Get parameter integer validated default to 1. And then we need to do the same for actually, but we could be adding a poll on an existing topic. We can't do that. If topic ID does not equal null, validated equals that. we'll initialize validated to 1, just to be on the safe side. We're going to need to get the validation status from the topic. F topics T validated, where ID is equal to topic ID. We need to do a null check. Highly unlikely this will ever happen. Because if topic ID is not equal to null, then we can almost be assured that it will exist in the database. Okay, so now we have our validated variable, which can then go into this function as a parameter. All right. We're going to go ahead and take a break since I've been streaming for about an hour now, so we'll be back in about 6 to 8 minutes or so. So everybody stick around and we'll be back. Alright, welcome back to our development stream. We've been working on trying to fix some bugs within topic polls. So now I think we are ready to give this a test, and the way that I'm going to test this is that I am going to take the default poll options configuration from the home site and apply it to our local test site here. That way we get an accurate representation of our testing environment and see if we fixed the bugs that were present on the home site. So we are going to add the configuration into here and save. And then we're going to go ahead and add a topic on the forum for general chat. Blah 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 blah, 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 blah. And add a topic polls now down here under further details under options, which is good, and it is forced on according to our configuration, but we have an error. String must be but it's a float. That's interesting. 3094. Oh, I see. It could be a number, or it could be a string. So we're gonna have to do an is string check. Let's get rid of the is null check, or is not null check, because is string will implicitly check for null as well. Okay, now we need to go back out, start the process over again. Okay, and we have a date, 1 week from today. At our poll. And it still says it's closed. The bug was not fixed. Okay, why is that? Let's see what the value is in the database. I don't think we're going to be getting to our unit testing today. Because I'm probably going to be stopping at the 2-hour mark for today, because we got some storms that are rolling in. So yesterday we had some storms, and there was a lightning strike that struck a power pole right across the street, and it set it on fire and knocked out the power. So we've been having some pretty aggressive pop-up storms coming through. So I just want to get off of the stream before those storms roll in, just to be on the safe side. So let's go here to polls, It would be number 2. Yep, it's coming up 0 for open. Let's walk through this process again. But this time with DevTools open. Let's just double confirm, double triple check that is open, is being passed in. Okay, now let's check our payload. It's called open. Oh, that might be an issue. Is it supposed to be is open? Yeah, it's supposed to be is open. Oh, hang on. Let's make sure I didn't screw that up. New topic, new post. Never plan to return info. Okay, yeah, so it should be is open for these. It should be is open for that. It should not be is open for this, because that's for the topic. It should not be is open for that. It should be is open for that. Let's see what we changed, if anything. Okay, I don't think we changed anything. Oh yeah, here we go. We have is open, but it's not actually being passed in. Why did is open not get passed in? None of these got passed in. None of these ticks got passed in. So when we add up, so hide results should have also been passed in. Did hide results? I can't remember what that was. It would be called, oh, is private. So this should have been 1 as well. So there's something wrong with the tick boxes. Value is 1. Disabled is private. So it's just, it looks like it's just checking if it's null. So it doesn't matter the value on that. So 0 would indicate that the tick existed on the form, but it did not pass in its value. It has the checked section. Are disabled checkboxes not posted? I wonder if it's a browser thing. What are we looking for? Had a little bit of a brain fart. I have to refresh my memory here. Get pull form fields. This is an options array. Form input various ticks. Disabled versus ticked. So we do have a value equals 1. I'm wondering if it's a browser thing. Like maybe disabled tick boxes don't get passed in as post parameters. We're gonna have to check with AI here and see what Google Gemini says. Yep, that's what I thought. Does it have a read-only attribute? Oh no, I'm hitting an HTML quirk. That's not a hopeful sign here. When the AI says you're hitting a quirk, if you play, the user can still edit it, but it also prevents the value from being sent in a form submission. So yeah, this is the route that I think I'm going to be taking, is using a hidden input. All right, we're gonna have to do the hidden input method. Lovely. All right. So we'll do this through the template. That'll probably be the easiest way to do this. So we're gonna open up the template. Okay, start loop out. And we're gonna add this on name. If disabled, we're gonna add a disabled suffix to the name of the tick box. And additionally, we're going to add a hidden input for the actual name and the value. Now let's confirm that those are the only places that we have disabled. Okay. I'm not convinced that we're done yet. Form input tick. We have another possibility of this being disabled. Let's go to name. And again, we add the actual hidden value with the actual name of the tick. I may do this differently. Instead of making it a suffix, I'm going to make it a prefix. And I'm going to have to edit it on here as well. I think that'll be better. Prevent. Oh, but the label is going to be problematic. We're gonna have to make these changes on the label as well. Label 4, and then we have to add that disabled clause there. Or do we? Ooh, I don't know. Pretty name, label. Label 4. Oh. No, maybe not. Gonna have to look through the code on this one. So in theory, it would pass in as the hidden input would be passed in, which is what we want, and that's what the tick value would be treated as. So label 4 would ideally, and tick on form would ideally be left alone. So I think we are okay in that respect. I think. We're gonna have to actually test this. It is starting to get really dark. Give me one moment here. I am going to check. I need to check the weather real quick because I think we got some big storms rolling in here. Let me see where we are with regards to the storms. We got time. All right, so we'll continue on with what we're doing. Okay, let's see if our change is applied here. The name has the disabled prefix. Do we have a hidden is open? Yes, we do. Now, what happens if we proceed? It looks like it worked. Okay, we have our date of closing. The results are going to be hidden. Private set to 1, open is set to 1. I think we figured it out. I think it worked. Now let's go ahead and test editing the poll. Okay. It is doing what we want it to on the edit screen. That's good. One other thing, we need to add our control logic in for when we validate a topic. CNS topic actions 2, I believe, is where we're going to find it. CNS edit topic. Validated. that just sets T validated to 1. It also auto validates the first post. Now, do we get topic info? We do have an info row. So we need to extrapolate the poll ID from that. Let me confirm that it's t-poll ID. I'm not 100% sure on that. It is t-poll ID. Okay, let's go back here. If poll ID is not equal to null, then that means we have a poll. We need to get the default poll options. Do we have forum ID? Forum ID could be null. Oh, but it does allow null. Private topic. Okay. Now we need to check voting time. Oops, I went too far. Get pull form fields. Voting period hours. Poll options for voting period hours is not equal to null, and that means we need to actually we need to check is numeric, because it could be false as well, or the string false. We need to calculate the poll closing time, which is right now plus the number of voting hours. we need to then edit the poll. Let's see. Let's see what the how we do it in the actualizer here. There should be just pulse action 2. Yeah, we don't need CNS pulse action. We need and then we need to run CNS edit poll. But first we need to require in CNS pulse action 2. Actually, we might need to require in the other one. Oh no, we need to require in number 3 to get access to this function. Okay, so we have poll ID. It wants all of this info. Okay, let's extrapolate the important bits out of this function and just kind of do it from a hackerish perspective. Full closing time. We're not gonna add it. We're not gonna use the API. So we directly edit the database, setting the closing time on the poll. Is there anything else that we need to do? It doesn't look like it. It looks like that was the only thing. It just edits the database. Oh, hang on. CNS validate poll. But that needs all of the info for the poll as well, so we're not going to do that. I mean, this isn't necessarily user controlled. The only thing the user is controlling is the validation of the topic, but the actual changes for the poll are being done programmatically, so we don't really need to validate anything on the poll itself. But we're still not done, because there is another way that the topic could be validated, and that's through validation time. Ooh, you know what? We should add a check here. possible a topic could get unvalidated and revalidated, and we don't want the timing or the closing time of the poll to reset when that happens. We don't want if there, we want it to be explicit. PO closing time. Now that could be null, right? Yes, it can be null. So if it is null, then we set the actual closing time. But if it's not null and we already have a closing time set for the poll, we don't mess with it. Okay, so like I said, there's another way that this could get validated, and that's through validation time. So if we get validated through a scheduler, through the cron, we also need to perform this action. Oh, what did I call it? Publish content. So, and the reason why I need to check into this, we may not need to change anything, but we'll need to look into this. So fs data validated equals 1. So if we edit the resource data, we're editing resource type of topic. So we get the commander fs object of topic, and we run resource edit on it. So that would be sources, hooks, systems, commander fs, topic. It is not commander fs, is it? Get resource commander fs option. The resource fs. Oh, okay. So it would be content, my bad. It would be content meta aware topic. And then we run resource edit on it. I don't know if I'm looking at that right. Yeah, I'm not looking at that right. Okay, let's try this again. Sources, hooks, systems. It's gotta be Commander FS. Calendar, catalog, chat, Concode pages. Maybe I just overlooked it. Polls, post templates, quizzes, site ticket types, user groups. There is no topic. Okay, we're gonna have to go further. I'm gonna have to figure this out. there's no topic. Okay, we have to backtrack. Okay, that's not getting me anywhere, but it might be in CNS topic actions. CNS make topic, this is what we want. Okay, we check. I don't know if this is what I'm looking for. Validation time. Actually, no, yeah, this is not what I'm looking for. All right, let's start over. Publish content. We're looping through each content hook and resource hook. So topic would be one of them. Extract content, string ID, get resource FS record. The name of the resource comes from the hook, which would be topic. So resource type would be topic. Resource type would be topic. Content type, we have the content type, which is topic, and we want the Commander file system hook, which is forums. Okay. So, sources, hooks, systems, Commander FS, forums, resource edit. At least that's what I'm assuming. We have the hook, which is forums. Yeah, and we return the hook, and it extends upon resource FS base. There it is. Wow, that took a lot of finding. Okay. It's folder type, folder edit, or file edit. But see, we have... Okay, so forums and topics are folders in our enterprise repository here. So that means we need to go under folder edit. Okay. So that's the forum stuff. This is the topic stuff. And it runs CNS edit topic, which passes invalidated. Does it pass invalidation time though? This seems like an oversight. Folder add. Okay, that's for forum. Let's do topic. CNS make topic. There's no validation time. Okay. Where are we getting... Or how are we... Oh, wait a minute. I think that's a whole separate... I think that's a whole separate thing. Forum, pages, modules, topics. I think there's a whole separate... Yeah, here it is, here it is. It's a whole separate function. We don't actually do it through the API of when we're creating a topic. Okay. That makes sense. So we schedule, and then it runs through CNS make topic, which then validates the topic, and then runs the poll stuff. So in theory, that should work. But we are going to have to test it. So we're going to go ahead and add a topic. We're going to call it NV for non-validated, just so I remember. We're going to untick validated, add a topic, and this should trigger blank for... It did not, though. Okay, so that's not good. Let's do this again and monitor our post variables. I'm going to check the name, which is validated. Did we get a post for that? We did not. Which means it defaulted to 1. Okay. At least that would be the assumption, is that it defaulted to 1. That may be yet another bug. So topic validated, which comes from here. Which comes from here, which is post parameter integer validated. Oh no, it's defaulted to 0. but there could be an underscore validated. Is there an underscore validated post parameter? There's not. Okay, so it should have defaulted to 0. Actually, I think the issue is not here, but rather in add poll. Yeah, this should be 0. Okay, let's see if that fixes it. Okay, now we have a blank date. Oh, but the question is, it might not get past this. It might not get past the validation. Let's go to the actualizer. Which runs CNS make poll. Which runs CNS validate poll. Closing time. Yeah, it forces a closing time. If a topic ID was provided, which it wouldn't have been because it's a new poll, so we add it to the current time. So it's still going to save in the database. Would it be feasible to add the topic to add a validated parameter to this? Probably not. Oh, but topic ID would have already been. Topic ID would have already been. Oh, because, okay, I see what it, okay. So it will create the topic first, which in turn means we get an ID for the topic. And then we actually get a poll. Yeah, because it would create the topic here and then get the topic ID. Okay. So we could get the validation state of the topic. Why are we checking? Topic ID is never going to be null. So we don't need that. We could turn this into our else. Is not, but we could be adding a poll. How is this not? If we're adding a new poll, then this... Oh, poll ID, if poll ID equals null. I see. All right. Let's see what happens. So the topic is not yet validated, and we don't have a closing date yet. I'm going to wait until it becomes 9:13. It is now 9:13. So what should happen now is if I validate this topic, it should then add the end date for the full. I don't think it did. Because I wonder, because we validated the first post, so I'm wondering if that uses a different method. Or a different API. Topic view. Oh, that's the value. Okay. Oh, form data. This is what we want. Topics, validate post. All right. So we have to look up the existing value. We have to do the same process in here as well. Actually, do we have topic info? We do have topic info, so we don't need that. We have a topic info row, which will have a T validated. We also need to get the topic poll. And we need to refactor this code. Yeah, that needs to be 3. Pull ID. I think that's the only thing. Closing time according to the default poll configuration on the forum. Auto link, forum ID, ID of the forum, in which the topic containing the poll exists. Of the poll on which to set the closing time. Okay, so we require CNS polls action 3, which then gets default poll options. Actually, this is CNS polls action 3. We don't need that. CNS get poll options, which, and then if this is numeric, then actually we could refactor this out. If this is not numeric, we return. If the closing time is already set, we return. Otherwise, we set the new closing time. Okay, now let's go back here. So we need the forum ID of the topic. Okay, so we do have forum ID. And then topic poll. Alright, so activate poll closing time, validate the topic. No, we don't need that. Okay. Now we need to repeat this process on here. Do we have forum ID? Yes. Okay. We have that. Now we have to test if this will work. It is not. Line 59 of T-post action. Lovely. Oh. That's why. Hopefully that did not actually validate anything. And we can run this test again. Yep, okay. Try it again. Are you serious? Is this a caching issue? No, it doesn't exist. Why? Do I have the wrong name? Nope. I do have the right name. Why does that not exist? Where you select? Oh, that's why it doesn't exist. It wasn't in the select statement. Okay, finally. We do have a poll closing in 7 days. Let's make sure that it attached to 9:29 p.m. local time for 1 week from today. So in order to do that, we need to go into the polls database, check our poll. I want to say it's this one. We're going to go to the epoch converter, epoch, paste our timestamp in here, and we get 9/29, July 4th. All right, so looks like that is working. I'm not going to test the rest of it at this time. I'm just going to leave it as is. What I'm going to do now is we're going to just go ahead and push these changes and then call it a day. So this is 6233. We're going to use the push bug fix tool. I'm sorry, 6223. Topics, polls, post, topics, screen input. Copy the original text. This was because of a browser quirk where a disabled tick box will not be sent in post data. We'll call it checkbox since that's the proper HTML term. This was because of a browser quirk where a disabled checkbox will not be sent in post data, and checkboxes do not support read-only. This fix applies the prefix disabled to the name of checkboxes when disabled read-only. Additionally, it adds a hidden value with the actual name of the checkbox and its default value, which is what is sent in post and read by the form handlers. Can't spell. What else did I do in this, in these changes? This actually, topics, modules, topics. I'm going to try and split the two things that we did today in separate issues. Might not be able to. Oh, it was also caused by an internal type error where we were trying to save a boolean into the database where we should have been saving a binary. Not sure why spell check things wants to capitalize the word. Is boolean really a proper noun? It is. Why is it a proper noun? I don't understand that. Like, string is not a proper noun. Binary is not a proper noun, although we capitalize it because it's a specific Composr type. I don't understand English language. But we've always used common noun form of boolean, including in PHP docs. So the English language can do stuff to itself. All right. So the internal type error. Yeah, we're not going to be able to separate these issues. Or stick options not being saved. Actually, you know what? I know how to do this. Let's start by committing the templates first. And this will be a new issue. Disabled tick boxes will not post their value. This is due to an HTML quirk where disabled checkboxes do not post their value. Changing. Do not post their value, and additionally, checkboxes do not support read-only. This hotfix adds the disabled prefix to the name of checkboxes which are disabled, and it adds a hidden input with the actual name of the checkbox and its default value, which will get posted and read by the form handler. So we'll do this first. And this is going to create a new tracker issue 6233, and we're going to mark this related to 6233. Apparently I was inactive for too long. Okay, and now we're going to add our other bug fix for 6223. This was due to an internal type error where we were trying to save a Boolean value to the database where we should have been saving a binary value. Now this is CMS pulls action three, but we also have CMS pulls action 3 for our next issue, so we're going to have to combine these two. Is private and is open issue was due to an internal type error where we were trying to save a Boolean value to the database where we should have been saving a binary value. The schedule issue was not implemented yet. Now, when creating a topic with a pool that has a forced closing hours, if the topic will not be validated initially, the pool will not have a closing time. And when the topic gets validated, the pool's closing time will get set accordingly. E.g., time the topic was validated plus forced number of hours poll should be open according to default poll configuration for the forum. I don't know if that's going to make any sense, but let's see. The schedule issue was not implemented. Now when creating a topic with a poll that has a forced closing, hours, if the topic will not be validated initially, the poll will not have a closing time, and when the topic gets validated, the poll's closing time will get set accordingly. The time the topic was validated plus the forced number of hours, the poll should be open according to default. Yeah, that's kind of confusing, holy crap. The time the topic was validated plus forced number of hours, the poll should be open according to default. So instead of a 1 week poll closing 1 week after a not validated topic is created, it will not close until 1 week after the topic actually gets validated. Whew, that's a lot of words. We'll mark this as a bug because it was documented that it should have behaved. Should have behaved accordingly. Now the question is, CNS polls, is that core CNS or is that CNS forums? It's core CNS, okay. This is tracker issue 6223. We're going to close it. You've already tested it. I put in my credentials here. And I still have no idea why it's not automatically closing the issue or uploading hot fixes. I'll have to figure that out. So we're going to mark this as resolved. And we need to mark 6233 is already marked as resolved. And we'll tag 6233 as v11, I believe. Yet I set the wrong category on this. This should be core CNS. All right. So pushing bug fix created. Well, I'm going to have to add a follow up to 6223. Doc edit, because that's not documentation's not part of core Composr code. All right, so now we have 4 commits that we need to push because the push a bug fix creates a commit for us but doesn't automatically push them. And then we need to actually, before we do that, we need to switch over to our home site branch and merge those changes in. We also have the other persistent caching fixes that I did prior that got merged in. And then we need to pull those changes onto the home site server, which I'm not going to do on this stream because I don't want to expose the IP address of the server. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day there. Unfortunately, we did not get to testing yet, but that's okay because we fixed a pretty important bug, or bugs rather, in the process today. So maybe in the next stream we'll be able to actually start getting into testing for the next release of Composr version 11. So everybody who has tuned in, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this stream, and be sure to check out Composr CMS. It's a free and open source software for building and developing websites, and it has a lot of features baked in without you having to download external third-party plugins. With that being said, composr.app, the website's down in the bottom right hand corner. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time.